Hello there, you're watching on television. This is State of Business. I am Pamudha Kadugampala. Here are our top stories. Economic growth is a key factor for debt sustainability, central bank governor says. Government intends to revive the halted construction industry. Welcome back, you're with State of Business. Now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Now, Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe has said that economic growth is a key variable which will play a major role to actually help restore debt sustainability. The Central Bank Governor said this while delivering the keynote speech at the CFA Society Sri Lanka CEO Forum recently.
The key expected outcomes of both GDO process and restructuring foreign debt reduction, which is basically to reduce the GFN, gross financing need, below 13% on average during the period of 2027 and 2032, and also bring down the public debt to GDP to below 95% by 2032, and also limit external debt service payments to around, on average, below 4.5% of GDP from currently 9.4%, which means almost half of external debt service payments that we have now, obligations, should be reduced to 4.5 from 9.4%. That's going to be a big relief in terms of foreign exchange balance of payment, as well as big relief for the liquidity for the government in terms of debt service costs. And on the domestic side also, from the GFN, gross financing need, currently well over 30%, will need to be brought down to 13% over a period of time through DDO as well as primary surpluses and other macro policies. And even obviously growth is also important variable that will help restore the debt sustainability.
The central bank governor also said that due to the domestic debt optimization process, there will be more availability of resources for the private sector to facilitate economic growth in the future.
Government has been absorbing a lot of domestic resources for servicing their debt. As a result, there was a crowding out impact on the private sector, availability of resources from the local domestic banks and sources. So this is where going forward what we think with the DDO, there will be a lot more domestic resources out of the banking system, financial system will be available for the private sector on a medium to long-term sustainable basis. So that will facilitate, that will provide opportunities, that will provide more resources for the private sector to grow faster and contribute to a real economic growth based on private investment. So that is what is important. So far we have been relying on mainly public investment growth based on public investment. We have to change that model. That is why public sector demand for resources, both external and domestic, will be lower than resource gap. The extra resources that would be generated, savings would be available for the private sector for their investment. This is why we think with our monetary policy actions, we hope that even cost of financing should be coming very low, both with our monetary policy stance as well as with more resources available for the private sector, as government will be demanding less.
Meanwhile, the government stressed its intentions to revive the construction industry by resuming the large infrastructure projects that were halted due to the economic crisis. Chief of Presidential Staff Sagala Ratnayaka stressed this during the meeting of the Executive Committee on the revival of the construction industry held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. The government's efforts to provide relief to the construction industry were discussed at length during the meeting. Sagala Ratnayaka said that President Ranil Wickremesinghe aims to revive the construction industry in Sri Lanka and contribute widely to the national economy. Ratnayaka said that according to the Department of Census and Statistics, construction activities recorded a negative growth of 38.3% in the first quarter of 2023. The committee members said that the 3-month-old areas owed by the government to the builders will be settled within the month of August. Ratnayaka stated that the government aims to revive the stalled development projects with the completion of debt optimization and foreign support. He instructed the Foreign Resources Department to submit a report on the progress of the development projects done with the support of the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. Stay tuned for more stories after this short commercial break. Welcome back. You're with State of Business. Now, the Chamber of Mineral Exporters was officially launched as a collaborative initiative comprising prominent companies in Sri Lanka who mine, process, add value and export minerals and mineral-based products. The Chamber of Mineral Exporters' official inauguration ceremony was held in Colombo on Wednesday. The newly formed chamber called on the government and regulators to formulate relevant policies to transform the industry to a vital thrust sector. The new trade body hopes to enhance foreign exchange earnings through export, encourage investment from local and foreign agencies through more conducive regulations. The Chamber notes there is potential for much more foreign exchange earnings through mineral exports if some regulatory challenges could be overcome. It was also noted that Sri Lanka must conduct a resource survey to identify the quantity and quality of the available minerals. The Chamber also pointed to the need for a good lab to set up to qualify material for different applications needed in a global supply chain. It noted there is a great deal of room for enhancements to the investments and business climate through change in regulations. The Chamber noted that companies involved in mining for mineral sands must renew their license every year, whereas licenses are often afforded for over 10 to 15 years in other countries. The newly formed chamber called on the government to assist the industry, thereby boosting the country's economy by implementing transparent and consistent regulations. They also set up independent oversight bodies that implement a strong regulatory framework, plus simplify and streamline licensing process using online platforms. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardene instructed officials to finalise the Aswasama bank account opening process for the payment immediately and act to disburse the payments to the beneficiaries. The Prime Minister said this at the Maharagama Divisional Coordination Committee meeting at Maharagama Divisional Secretariat Auditorium last week. Issues regarding the Aswasama program and the problems related to a particular area were discussed at the same time. It was emphasised that bank accounts should be opened immediately for those who have not opened bank accounts for the payment of social welfare benefits. The issue regarding the closure of hospital ward for bhikkhus at Apeksha Hospital was discussed, and it was revealed that estimates are being prepared to renovate it completely. The police were warned about the increasing drug use and theft in the Maharagama area. The Prime Minister advised the police to find solutions to these issues together with public organisations. Furthermore, the officials have pointed out that the 50% of the work for removal of water weeds from Borasgamo Lake has been completed. The Prime Minister said that the work should be completed within the scheduled time. Further, special attention was focused to the harvesting of fallow fields in the area. South African High Commissioner for Sri Lanka, Sandil Edwin Shock, said that if business does not play a critical role in national reconciliation, the population will not stand to benefit from it. The High Commissioner said this at an event organised by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce to promote trade and investment between Sri Lanka and South Africa at the Chamber Auditorium recently.
I want to say South Africa is open for business. Our country is open for business to ensure and cultivate a culture of mutually beneficial relationship between our two countries, and the need to see and look at opportunities at our disposal and actually seize them, take the opportunities that are presented. If business does not play its critical role in the processes of national reconciliation, no one will benefit. Business sector played a critical role in the transition of South Africa from apartheid to democracy. It took bold businessmen and academics who in 1986, against a very brutal apartheid government, went out to Lusaka, Zambia, went out to different parts of the continent to engage and talk about a future South Africa. So the role of business in creating a conducive climate for business development, for socio-economic adjustments, is very, very important.
Stay tuned for the stock update. Welcome back. You're watching State of Business. Now the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today. The All Share Price Index gained 51.17 points to close at 11,633.51, and the S&P SL 20 gained 21.39 points to close at 3,411.06. The turnover was 4.3 billion rupees and over 147 million shares were traded. Coming up next are Forex rates. Well, that's it for tonight. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook. Thanks for watching. Take care and good night.